Welcome to State of Affairs. I'm Steve Adubato. More importantly, we're coming to you from the Agnes Veris NJTV studio in Newark. Back by popular demand is Jon Bramnick, Assemblyman Jon Bramnick. He is the Assembly Minority Leader. He's got a new book out. Now, on public television, we don't like to plug, but there aren't a lot of legislators who have books like this. Why People Don't Like You by the funniest lawyer in New Jersey, Jon Bramnick. The premise of listen, we'll talk about the Murphy budget in a second, but what's the premise of this book, Jon?
The premise is interpersonal skills are important, so I have 200 rules of things you shouldn't do.
You should not do.
Should not do.
Give me one.
Yeah, when you shake hands with somebody, don't hurt me. You know, there's certain people want to squeeze your hand so much that I understand your workout, and I know a firm handshake's important, but just don't injure me.
I like that.
And if you give me a hug, easy on the hug, okay?
Don't pull it. Okay, we'll leave that alone. Speaking of hugging, are you hugging? Watch this transition. This segue. Are you hugging Governor Murphy after, by the way, we're doing this a week after the governor's budget address. Are you hugging him? Listen, cutting some spending, making an arrangement with the CWA, the Communication Workers of America, to reduce some health care costs. You like this budget, right?
Well, some things are good and some things are bad.
What do you like? What don't you like?
Well, what I don't like is the fact that we don't cap state spending. We have a 2% cap on local spending. But in the last 2 years, in these two budgets, you know, we have spending 9–10% increase. Now, why is state government not following its own laws with respect to what we do with local governments? I think everyone knows we have to cap state government at 2%.
But Assemblyman, isn't it fair to say, and most objective analysts have said that the governor's budget is pretty tame in terms of spending, and he could have spent or proposed spending a lot more?
Well, everybody can spend more. But what was important here was I think Murphy got some message from the legislature, both Democrats and Republicans.
What was the message?
Well, last time I think spending went up 7.5%.
Yes, it did.
He wasn't negotiating with the legislature. He wasn't cutting benefits. So
health care benefits, pension benefits for public employees.
Well, especially health care benefits. So he negotiated a reduction in health care benefits for state employees, which is good.
Right.
But this is somebody who believes, one, in raising taxes, because he's already indicated he wants to raise more income taxes in a state where we're overtaxed.
But on millionaires.
Well, you know, it's funny. If it's somebody else's income tax, then it's okay. But you would agree that people are leaving the state. You would agree that successful people, many successful, are leaving the state.
What makes you think that's about taxes?
Well, I don't think they're leaving for simply because the weather's better somewhere else. This is absolutely a serious problem in the state. But let's get back to Murphy for a second. I think Governor Murphy got a message from the legislature that, you know, spending and cutting taxes is important. He just hasn't followed it 100%. He's starting to get a little bit of that message.
Assemblyman, do you believe there's support, in all seriousness, for the millionaire's tax? Last year was a $5 million. If you earned $5 million or more, I believe you were taxed at a higher rate. The Governor Murphy has said, and by the way, we look forward to having Governor Murphy right here in NJTV studios talking about these things, defending his own budget, making his case. He says, look, you know what? We got to go lower. $1 million is still a significant income, and we need that revenue in order to fund pre-K programs, in order to fund more dollars to public schools, in order to have infrastructure projects, in order to do a whole range, New Jersey Transit, right?
He is a big government spender, and he believes, for some reason, that we are undertaxed. This state is the highest tax state in the country, has the worst business climate in the country, and then he's going to increase taxes on those individuals who create jobs. He doesn't believe this is going to have an effect on people who create businesses here, more regulation on business.
He calls it fairness. He calls it tax fairness.
Well, if we were loaded with cash and we had surpluses and we could do everything we wanted as a government, then maybe some of Murphy's ideas would be appropriate. Right. But not in a state where we have to compete with other states and try to bring businesses in and keep jobs here. I don't think he gets that part of the message.
What about the innovation initiative? We're doing a whole series on innovation in New Jersey, the future of innovation. The governor has said that it's an innovation state. We need to promote that. And it's a way to promote our economy.
Of course, but those innovation companies have to feel as if they can do business here and they can have people live here, that it's not unaffordable. You know, it's not just, I want innovation here, I want innovation companies here. If I want innovation companies here, I have to make it affordable to bring in people to work here and for companies to do business here.
Assemblyman, what's going to happen? By the way, we're joined by Assemblyman Jon Bramnick, who's been in the legislature for a few years.
Yeah, 2003.
2003. He is the ranking Republican in the lower house. Legalizing marijuana. I guess your colleagues call it cannabis in the legislation. It's marijuana. It appears that many of your colleagues are looking to say, listen, we don't really want to even vote on this. We would rather have the citizens of New Jersey make their decision on this. Should the decision to legalize marijuana in New Jersey, Assemblyman Bramnick, go to voters and not state legislators? And if that's the case, are you not ducking this?
Well, first, I think the Democrats in the legislature are going to pass legalized marijuana.
You do?
Oh, absolutely. They'll probably wait for after the election because they're afraid of the repercussions from that, because there are a lot of moms out there who don't believe another drug should be introduced into our society.
Respectfully, the last poll I saw said that most New Jerseyans are supportive of legalizing marijuana.
Well, I said moms of like teenage kids. And I can tell you, government now is going to endorse another drug with all of the drug problems we have in this country. But let's go back to whether people should vote on it. I'd be happy to see people vote on it. That's not necessarily how I would vote.
What would you vote? Would you vote against it?
I would absolutely do the following. Nobody should go to jail for having small amounts of marijuana. No one should lose their career. But I would not vote to endorse another drug in a society where we have an incredible problem with everything from opiates to alcohol. It's basically government saying, hey, here's another drug you should try.
You would decriminalize.
Absolutely.
But not
100%.
legalize. There's a
Absolutely.
difference?
Big difference.
Okay.
Big difference is I just don't want to endorse another drug.
Okay, try this. Last time you were here on State of Affairs, you're very candid about the tone and tenor. By the way, Jackie, put up the website, our website. We'll put Assemblyman Bramnick's video. You did a social media hit, I don't know whether it was on Facebook or wherever it was, where you said, look, we need to stop acting like we hate each other and we're enemies. We just have different ideas, and the tone of political discourse is out of control in this country. What was the message and why did you send it?
Yeah, I'm really sad about that. Now it seems as if we're enemies on opposite sides of the aisle. I mean, why is it personal? This is public policy.
Why is it personal? Not a hypothetical, but why is it personal?
Well, it's become personal because I think even in the media, you have two sides. You have Fox and MSNBC, and both of them never say anything good about the other side.
You have PBS where we don't pick sides, but that's another story.
Absolutely, but you're not out there to just try to get ratings. You have public financing. It's a little different model than the private industry. So what's happened today, the only people who get on TV are the people really mad at the other side. If you're in the middle and you're like trying to look at public policy and you're neutral and you're trying to understand, you won't be interviewed by any of those channels. And so everyone thinks you either have to be A or B. You can't be in the middle of anything. And it's unfortunate.
That's how you get on there.
Of course, you have to be radical on one side or the other.
And demonize your opponent.
Absolutely. And I have to tell you, this is one of the most dangerous things I've seen in society. My dad used to say, if you said something like the president's a bum, he goes, no. You don't disrespect anybody in public office. You treat everyone with respect and discuss the issue.
You always do that, Assemblyman. By the way, I want to clarify, we spend a fair amount of our time raising private dollars to do what we do, as you well know.
No, I understand.
It's in terms of government funding.
But you're as close to the middle of the road in public television as anybody could be.
That's our mission.
And
to share information. Assemblyman Jon Bramnick, one more time. Here's the book. Why People Don't Like You, by the funniest lawyer. He's also the funniest legislator. But I often tell him that wouldn't take much. In New Jersey, Jon Bramnick. Thank you, John.
Thanks,
Appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
I'm Steve Adubato. We're at NJTV Studios, the Agnes Vera Studio. We'll be right back right after this.
State of Affairs with Steve Adubato is a production of the Caucus Educational Corporation, celebrating over 30 years of broadcast excellence. State of Affairs with Steve Adubato is brought to you from the Agnes Veris NJTV studio at 2 Gateway. Funding has been provided by the Turl Fund, supporting right from the start NJ, Johnson & Johnson, NJM Insurance Group, International Union of Operating Engineers, Local 825, Fedway Associates, Keystone Mountain Lakes Regional Council of Carpenters, Suez, and by these public-spirited organizations, individuals, and associations committed to informing New Jersey citizens about the important issues facing the Garden State. And by Employers Association of New Jersey.